All right, folks, it is time to finally get into the finale episode of Snowfall Season 5. What a crazy episode this was. And if you know the deal, then you know we're here to talk about it. Your usual is Niger and Lucas here to bring you the official recap. Man, we got so many things to talk about tonight. But before we get into it, because we are men of our word and we did deliver. We told you we had something special for you. And in fact, it is available now. Back to the show, Miss Christine Horn. And finally, as a package deal together, Taylor, Polidore, you may know them as Black, Diamond, and Dallas.
So before we get into our recap, check out our review with them. You can either check it out as it'll play here next, right before our recap, or check it out separately on Big Gold Belt. Either way, check it out. Very interesting content. They tried to give us as much information as they could, but please remember, they know nothing. But you'll see just their thoughts on the finale, their thoughts on their characters. Again, it's going to be a dope interview that, again, will run right before our recap. So check it out, folks.
Wow, folks, what an incredible season finale of Snowfall. And we promise you we had something special, and you can just look. I don't even have to say anything. And it's crazy thinking back 1 year ago, well, maybe not actually a year, but the last finale of last season, to think that here we are again, ready to have some fun, ready to toss some Snowfall with 2 stars of the show. Finally, we got the 2 together, the best mothers on Snowfall, bar none.
Yes.
Welcome back, Christine, and welcome, Taylor. This is Black Diamond and Dallas, folks. How y'all doing tonight?
Yes, I'm amazing. Thanks for having us, and I'm so glad the timing worked out, because I told my publicist, I was like, see if Taylor, we can get Taylor so we can be all together. Because I mean, like, we're freaking frack. We gotta just be together.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What a finale. Before we even get into it, what did you all think, man? This is a crazy season, but the finale, some major moves have been made. You two being the catalyst of it. Talk to me.
I think we're the catalyst. we're aiding. We're just there.
We are down. One thing you clearly have learned about Dallas and Black Diamond, just call us. We're very reliable. We're very responsible. I'm serious. Like, I know we got right. I know we got a bad rap for like working for the highest bidder, but look, money talks. It's about business.
There you go.
But just know, when you invest in us, you're gonna get a high return on your investment. We will be there.
Professional.
Well, but honestly, we were talking right before you hit record. Like, even though we have the script and we read it, it's something totally different to see how it all comes together. Because again, for viewers who are watching who don't know, like, we're not there for every scene, right? So we can read it, but don't know how. Like Alonso Alvarez, amazing freaking director. Luis, who assisted him as cinematographer, like Taylor, these shots this season, shooting through shopping carts.
Alonso is insane in the best way.
I mean, there are so many epic. This is like an Emmy Award winning episode between the cinematography, the directing, and the acting, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Profound. It changes the trajectory of the show. This is the episode that, next season, the beginning of the end, this is setting the pace for what season 6 is about to be about, which I guess is mayhem and chaos.
Yes.
Clearly, it's mayhem.
I'm about to say, with Black Diamond and Dallas, who will be mayhem and chaos, as we see by the end of this episode.
Yep.
Again, one thing we had brought up last season, that we just love you two's characters and what you represented. As we said before, like, you represent shooters for hire, but you also represented, to me, 2 extremely strong females on the show that aren't treated like the typical female we get on a lot of these shows. You two are treated as extremely strong characters, extremely reliable characters, along with being great mothers. Great mothers on Snowfall. But everything you all represent on the show is, to me, the force of the show. How do you all, when you read the script, when you read how these characters are going to play out, how did that first come across to you?
I'll speak for myself, and I know Taylor and I have had our own private conversations together. And I don't know if I shared this last season, but fun fact: Taylor and I both auditioned for opposite roles.
Yeah.
And at the final hour, they were like, "Can you swap? We think it would be a swap." And here we are. But I think for me, and again, private conversations Taylor and I have had together, along with the writers, what I didn't want was to make this a caricature of any kind. Or stereotypical. I mean, people can get mad. I mean, look, we read the comments, we read the blogs and the Black Twitter, right? So we know people have opinions, but at the end of the day, like, this was real. Like, women were doing this. They were actively in this also. And so how can we bring this story and tell its truth? And I love that this season you got to see different layers, like getting to see it as mothers, as being, frustrated, having our happy moments, but yeah, that's the main thing I want to say. Like, just bringing truth to the story, along with some comic relief moments, as well as, just reality.
Yeah. I really appreciate, like you said, the women are shown in a very strong way. And I remember when I got the audition, just reading about stripper, bounty hunter, I was like, oh God, I don't want to be, I don't want to be over sexualized. I don't want this. And with a stripper, you don't know which way it could go. But they have done such a tasteful job, I think, in sticking to the main story of we are killers. And I love strong feminine roles, and they definitely are. And they it's no ifs and buts about it. They are strong. They are mothers. They are killers. And it's very fun.
And what I love too, especially that episode where we have our kids and they see us and they talking about when y'all used to work at, and we're like, no, you like, and we got to show love to, Outcast and Big Boy for sure in that episode. But it's not that stripping was our only identity.
Exactly.
Also, like, it was a means to an end. Hell, I mean, when we were talking with Janine Daniels, the writer from the season 4, we talked about a backstory of them possibly being nurses before, and then they stopped nursing because they made more money stripping. It wasn't that they loved stripping. It was just, it made more money. We got kids, and we got, we want to provide for our families. So
yeah. Let's take a step back to season 4. Now, it's good to know that you all watch our reviews, if that's what you were saying, in Black Twitter. But when you saw the reception,
Taylor put me on to Black Twitter. Taylor put me on.
I be seeing what y'all say. Snowfall are ride or die, but they are crazy. The notions, like you said, when we read the script, it's one thing, and then like to see the episode, but then to see how the audience reacts to stuff, it's like, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, in our due diligence, just to make sure we can interact with our audience, we take a look at social media, the Black Twitters, the YouTube comments and whatnot. And before we met Christine, who's part of the family, now you're part of the family now too, so there's nothing biased about this statement, but we were very high on your two's characters, and we said, oh, we want more. And so did we. Went and searched the internet. Everybody was like, no, we want more. And I thought that was such a telling thing, because in traditional, characters like that are one-offs. You're like, oh, they got a quick joke in there, blah 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 blah. Oh, I remember their faces from whatever X show, and then they're gone. And then it was like, okay, 1 episode, 2 episodes, okay, 3 episodes. Oh, actually making significant changes in the plot. And then to come back this season bright and early, we was like, wait now. First of all, I'll keep it a buck. Me and Lucas was like, all right, we got a gripe with Christine. Like, she must have knew, because we were sitting there like, man, we hope. We praying every Sunday, hoping, and here you are. But I just want to know, pulling the curtains back just a little bit, when you knew you were coming back for season 5, and when you knew that your character arcs were starting to get bigger and more assertive into the things that were happening, what was the thoughts going on through your heads?
I want to give the audience a little behind the scenes. I didn't know. We don't know anything. And this isn't, and Snowfall is not the only show that operates this way. There's lots of secrecy. The story can go any which way. There were a few moments of this finale that I was like, ooh, they left that wide open for anything to happen. But we'll talk about that later. So no, I mean, in all honesty, with full respect to our network, it could be a couple of weeks before shooting starts, before they check our availability to see if we're available. So they have an idea. The showrunner, the writers, the producers, all, of course, they have an idea. But there's so many other pieces to that puzzle that we are not involved in.
But when we did find out, like, you know, they're like, hey, you're in the first episode. Okay, great. Then we get it. Oh, you're in the second episode. Okay, wow. By the third one, it was like, okay.
Right.
As it progressively kept going, it's like, all right, I see. And I'm just grateful. I'm very grateful that it's grown in this way. And I'm excited to see what I don't know what's going to happen next season.
Let's give a little bit of extra tea, because me and Taylor will text each other. Whoever got the script first, like me may be busy and I haven't had a chance to read the script. And whoever gets it, we live? We alive? We're not dead yet? We're not dead yet. Okay. One more episode. That's real. No one is safe on Snowfall. It's our running joke.
No one.
Well,
we show up to our table read. It's all love with the showrunner and our executive producer. Shout out to Dave Andron. But it's just this is the world we live in, and this is the reality of the time. So yeah, we're just honored. I know for me, just every time we get more time to play, you know, and getting to play with Damson and our little trio is really awesome.
And getting deeper into their lives is really cool too. That's pretty rewarding. When we got the kids, I was like, oh yay.
Because we needed to see just a more human side of Black Diamond and Dallas, and we got to see that briefly there. But as you all said, with their backgrounds of being strippers, or what people perceived that we were going to get from them being strippers, instead it was just a means to an end, which is almost every character in Snowfall has done something for a means to an end before they moved on to something better, greater for themselves. And with this finale, we clearly see you two have moved on to something much better than anything I could have hoped for, because we wanted a spinoff from you two after last season. We said we need a full spinoff because the background was so interesting. And I said there's so many places they could go with these two characters. But now that we've seen this finale and we see where you two are positioned at as technically the real two that Franklin's depending on for more than anything else moving forward in season 6. What are you all's feelings about where you see your characters at going into the next season, knowing that at the minimum you're gonna be alive for the first episode?
Hey, hold on. Let me add a little salt and pepper on that too, because the next season is the last season. So you're going into what should be the biggest and best season of Snowfall, knowing that your characters are going to be alongside of Franklin, which is just at this point now can be the most unpredictable thing going forward. He is desperate and you all are ready to go. I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah, you know, we
neither.
Right. Before we came on, we were talking about it. I ran into our showrunner, Dave Andron, at a party, and he was like, Christine, you're gonna love the finale. I just finished editing it. It's amazing. And I was there with one of my girlfriends who was the star of Last Days of Ptolemy Gray, Charity Jordan. And she said, please don't kill my friend. And he was like, look, I can't make any. This is just a show. So I will at least make it like a speech. You know, there's like a running joke on the show. People make speeches before they die.
They definitely do.
Avi tried this season. Yeah. So we'll see. You know, at the end of the day, Taylor and I, we just have fun. We go to work and have fun.
We're along for the ride, just like the viewers watching. Because I was a fan of the show before I got on it. So I watch it, of course, like seeing how we did and what we shot. But I'm like, what is going to happen? What is going on?
Yeah.
Me too. So we'll see. We
will see.
So, cash is king. That seems to be the prerogative of you two. But in this episode, the robbing of Louis and Jerome's spots, it didn't come off as a vendetta. It seems more of a job for hire still. So if you can tell us a little bit about you two's characters' psychology here, does anything ever get personal for them two? Or is it always just about the job and the finances behind it?
Good question.
It's always about the money. It is not personal. Black Diamond said that when she apologized to Louis for shooting him.
True.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, this season too, right?
Yeah.
Louis is the reason why we're alive. Louis could come back and be like, I'm the one who has the situation with Teddy. My money is continuing to flow.
Yeah.
Help us get Franklin. I don't know.
We'll
I don't
go
think
work for Louis.
At this point.
She knows it's not personal. She knows none of it is personal.
Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, it is the only thing that is personal is our personal livelihood.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. We'll see. Now that everybody's money's been allocated all around, it's hard to tell who has what. I mean, Louis and Jerome got robbed. Franklin got robbed. I mean, now who knows now? So whoever's the highest bidder, Kane is.
I felt some kind of way. Like I felt Franklin when he was at that phone booth talking to Teddy. Like, beautifully shot. Also, again, shout out to the crew. But I felt him wanting to rip that phone booth out of its socket.
He has nothing.
I mean, even though I read it, in hindsight, the performer in me and the perfectionist in me wishes I had seen so much. I wish I saw more of his intensity before we shot some of our scenes together.
Yeah.
Because we were a bit ignorant.
Right. But I think also that it's honest though, because I always say let's use it as an actor, use the circumstances. So I think the reality is Franklin would not have led us into all of that. No. It would just still be a phone call. Hey, I need y'all to do this. And we're like, shit, okay. Like without all the backstory. But that's just the fan and the.
Hey, and it's one of the best parts of the episode when we see you all pull up in the car. Say, oh, we was wondering when we were going to hear from you again. Exactly. It just shows just who Black Diamond and Dallas are. They are guns for hire, and they're just looking like, okay, when's the next job going to come?
Right.
Like, when's our next assignment going to be? Do you all look forward to in possibly season 6? Maybe things change up a little bit. Maybe you officially become part of what he needs to be, his team moving forward, instead of just guns for hire. And if that happens, how do you all feel that would change your characters?
I mean, I would love to see the connections deepen, and of course we have more responsibility or things, but I think especially how volatile things are right now, if our responsibilities go up, the chances of us getting killed go up. Like the stakes get higher, which is so much fun as an actor to have that to play with. So I would love to do that, and I think it would be really fun to watch and see how it all plays out. I really have no idea what the writers are going to do. We don't know. We have no idea where it's going to go.
But hey, like this season, I had a boyfriend for 1.5.
Hey,
There was a whole scene that never happened. It was supposed to be a whole hot pool sex scene that got cut. Sorry, fans. But I remember reading the script like, oh, okay.
Yeah, when they pulled up to the mansion and you came out in I think in a robe or something, I was like, wait a minute, what's
going on here?
Did we miss something? You got a whole boyfriend.
Yeah. Made the ultimate come up. I'm like, okay,
right. I will say this, even though we won't know what will happen next season, I think a big adjustment for the fans and for us, honestly, is expect a time lapse. I can't speak for the writers.
Sure.
Yeah.
As much as we had a time lapse this season, I
6
feel
months,
like
I think it was about 6 months.
No, we had it was a 15 month. Wasn't it 15 months, Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And but it wasn't on screen. Like you would not have just known.
I feel like we had too much time lapse.
Yeah.
From this season to the next one. I can't see it being that long again.
I hope not. Yeah. Especially as hot as it is, as volatile as it is. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But if it happens, just don't be thrown. I mean, we don't know.
Know what Franklin is doing the next day. What's happening?
Right. Yeah. I mean, because Franklin, coming into this season, girlfriend, she's pregnant. It's like, wait, what happened? So and I think like the fans and us, we're very much accustomed to some sort of time jump, but we do know that the show is not going to get into the 90s, so that time jump that frame is a little bit smaller than than a regular possibility. So to kind of go again a little bit behind the curtains, can you just talk to us a little bit about some of your favorite moments and your favorite scenes of this season?
I really enjoyed the finale because I like to shoot people on the show.
We didn't get to shoot nobody.
So I'm like, when are we gonna kill somebody? Because it's fun. I have never shot anyone in real life. I don't do that in real life, but it's always fun just to get the action stuff and and the season finale. We did our job. And working with the kids were funny. That was very funny.
Taylor knew exactly what scene. She said, "Oh, when I got to shoot somebody, listen, that was the best time."
Last in season 4, I think don't give me the line, 7 or 8, when we shot up the funeral.
Yep,
that was so dope.
Well, you didn't get to shoot nobody, Taylor. That was me and
driving. Yeah.
They had to tell us stop smiling because we'd be like, I know you're having fun. But
you know what? They should have kept that in because that would be a sick twist for somebody to do a drive-by and is smiling at you as they're doing it.
We was like, ooh, all this gas in the chamber is great. Taylor, you were driving. Gosh, for me, some of the most fun days on set were when it was a big scene, which took a long time to shoot. But days when we were all together.
Oh yeah,
like when D-Ray was there, and it was just Leon, all the characters.
We weren't at the wedding because I know that
we would have been tripping at that wedding. I was a little jealous watching that episode. I was.
Yeah.
It seemed like because we, as a naturally the group gels, and I'm so grateful we got to join in season 4, but I'm like, gosh, what would it have been like if we joined in season 1? Because we just connect, even though you don't see everybody every day, you're not in the same scenes. The moments where we do, we make the most of it. We have fun. We joke around, it's just, but when it's action, and we all get to work and have respect for the craft.
Yeah. So. Hold on, Lucas. A little quick follow-up real fast. I just realized something. You two got to be like real tight with the cinematographer because every shot that you all have in introduction is cinematic. It's these panning shots or all types of this scaling. It's like y'all be like, hey, y'all give us the special. Y'all know what we like.
Excited to see us. Listen, Taylor and I, we made good friends with our still photographer. He just loved us, honey. What can we say,
Yeah.
I will say though, each time me and Christine are at work, we are like anybody else though, we are ready to be at work. We are ready. And it's like, oh, y'all ready before you even say action? Yes.
I love it.
Well, you see that all over your characters, just being prepared for anything that can possibly happen. So I got to ask, and I know you all have no say-so. You've not seen anything for the next season. But in your dream world, where would you like these two characters to go?
Oh, I know in my dream world, I would like to help either Franklin or Louis, whatever the opposing, whoever's gonna win. I would like to help them get away and get my money and go buy some mansion in Calabasas for me and my daughter and go do art and go live a happy life.
Okay, so Taylor wants to become a Kardashian by the end of the show.
Yes. I want to get out of the game. I want to get my
I love it. And I don't think Black Diamond will be that far behind. I think I think it was such an interesting choice in the casting of this. When they first put the breakdown out for these characters, they really described them as these total opposite women, opposite age ranges and looks and all this stuff, but there was a unique bond that bonded them. So I think no matter what happens, it will go down they'll go down together. Whatever happens will happen together. And I like to think everything they've been through, even to the point where they're dropping their kids off to school at the same time. Like there's a level of dedication and loyalty between themselves. They may not be loyal to anyone else, but I think they have a loyalty to each other. So no matter what happens, I almost feel, and I don't, again, making this up, even if the opportunity came for the tables to turn on each other, I'm not quite sure that we would turn tables on each other. I don't feel that in my gut, but I don't know. That could be interesting storyline.
I wouldn't want it, but
no,
that would be. I would just be baffled to went that route.
I know.
You got to have a little fun here. Now, you two was not on a particular episode, but if you were on that wedding episode with the LSD trip, what would you two characters have been doing?
Excuse me. Dancing.
Probably dance. I was like, I hope there was no enemies there.
I'm about to say the F word.
Well, I might have He has been very disrespectful, and I thought we were done with that.
And listen, Dallas, she's the pop off, as y'all saw, especially the episode where they had us hold up at the club. And Big Dion, everybody's, and she the first one, and somebody get that gun out of my face.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. Like, she's smaller than me. Talking about get that gun out of my face. Like, I feel like I don't know.
If we had a good trip, we'd be dancing. If it was a bad trip, it would have got violent, probably.
Right. I agree.
That sounds about right. That's the way trips work.
and there's that middle area where you could be rolling down the hill like Gustavo. So, you just never know.
Probably had the best time.
Oh my God. Yes.
I enjoy it. My mother called me the next day and she was like, I was talking because a lot of older, like my grandmother's sister. So my grandmother's 101, still alive in the Bronx. Wow. So you have a visual. So her younger sister is like 90. She's like, Valerie is my mother's name. What was happening in that episode? I think people were on drugs. I have to watch it again. Like, just so confused.
That's so cute.
It was adorable.
There was another tone that went around too, like, yep, that's pretty accurate. That's how it used to be. So oh man. Lucas.
So closing out, what are your final thoughts on this season of Snowfall?
It's the beginning of the end. I think this season set up next season perfectly.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think next season is going to be one of the wildest, because everything has to end. They have to end it. We all know that it's coming to an end. So, I'm setting the expectations high, but I know it's because they're going to deliver and even exceed it. But I think this season, like, it set everything up to unravel.
Yeah.
That was its purpose.
Yeah. The one moment that got me, I have to be honest, when Veronique picks up the phone and she's like, I'm in a bit of a and I'm like, is it her mama? Who is it? And I just love how it's written because it can be anybody, and that's the beauty in the writing. Like, it can be anybody. Where we'll go with Sissy, like, and how Sissy and her connects will help us out. How this, now that Franklin has pulled a gun on Louis.
Yep.
It's just so many. Jerome ain't got time to be mad at us no more.
Not at all.
Find out that Franklin and pulled.
Check your nephew.
Right.
He said he killed Louis 10 times. He only tried to kill him.
He sure did. He said 10 times over. He sure would. And I don't like that Buckley, that cop. I don't even.
Listen, I'm glad you brought him up, because if it's the first body I want y'all to catch, is that dude. He ain't a cop no more, so he free game. So do what you gotta do.
I like the way you think. You need to talk to the writers.
Right.
All the writers got to do is tune into Black Twitter. They're going to
Right.
give answers to all of this stuff.
Yep.
Listen, shout out to your audience and to all of the Snowfall fans. I mean, truly, like we joke, but y'all are so vocal and so show this show so much love. And it is comical at the intense level of love you have for Franklin, no matter what he does,
No matter
or how
what.
he does it, whether he's wrong or right. I think it's awesome. Just, and getting to be a part of this show and part of the John Singleton legacy is just really, really awesome. So thank y'all for having us also.
Absolutely. Listen, I was wondering in this season, I was like, man, next season's the last. This is kind of coasting down. What's the make of this last finale? And this one really hit it out of the park. And man, all the emotions, all the energy, everything. We already know all of the folks of all the social medias are going to be ripping and raving about this one. And at the front catalyst is going to be Franklin, you two, maybe Kane, who knows, but things are going to get crazy. And like you said, with it being the last season, which is kind of actually synonymous with Franklin, he's kind of all in. This is all in for the series. Yeah. Might as well go out and crazy, right?
Yeah, I like that. All in.
Yeah.
Let's do it. But Christine, you already know, you always welcome here. And Taylor, finally you join, and we extend the invitation out also to you as well. Always come back, any project, not just Snowfall. We always keep an eye out on anybody that comes here in their future project. Christine got like a billion different things, and something else you're going to be following back up with soon.
Y'all like somebody auntie at the church. I know
exactly.
We synced you. But seriously, we couldn't thank you two enough. As we said, going back into last season when we looked at you two's characters, and with everything that's kind of going on, some episodes got really deep, really heavy. But for two characters that comes in and don't follow those traditional tropes and are really strongly written, comedic relief, but also will catch your body in a heartbeat. Well, there you go. It's our favorite. And you ain't got to listen to us because, like you said, Black Twitter will already tell you that they riding with y'all. And so here we go. We in the backseat with Franklin. So where we going?
Yeah. I love it.
But absolutely, thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you all both real soon, right?
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you all for watching.
Absolutely. Thank y'all tuning in for this interview, folks. We'll catch y'all back next season with more Snowfall. All right, folks, welcome back to the channel today for our official recap of Snowfall, the finale episode. This episode is Fault Lines. We got things to talk about tonight, folks. Nigerian Lucas here to bring you the official recap, all things Snowfall, all things season 5. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about season 6, who knows? But we definitely got to get into tonight's finale episode, which was crazy. Jump in the comments, folks. Let us know your thoughts about tonight's episode right now. Hit that like button. You better be subscribed by now because we're here back for Snowfall for the final episode, final season, going into season 6 next, whenever it comes back. But we'll be there whenever it is. I ain't gonna say next year because you just never know nowadays. But either way, we're here all things Snowfall. But let's wrap up season 5 with our finale recap. And this was a crazy one, as I said. And with this episode title being called Fault Lines, you kind of got a prediction of what that might mean. But we definitely saw those lines drawn up and down the board. A lot of crazy things are happening. And episode kind of started off with Franklin on a good note. Good note because after all that tension he's been having with Veronique, you start to doubt their chemistry within their relationship. You're kind of thinking like, she's still kind of bothered by his antics with being in the drug game, and she's trying to protect. She still got this very pretentious energy to him and whatnot. But they started off with some unicorn sex, which it's a good way to start this day off, I guess, right?
Listen. I personally have never experienced this before. I hear it's amazing though, but I have never experienced it before that. Because we're going to climax at the same time. I've heard about it in the movies and clearly in television shows with Snowfall, but to me, it's still a myth. Like unicorns, it doesn't exist. It doesn't happen in real life.
Oh boy!
They already know how they're gonna go. They're gonna be like, "You just don't understand. You are lying to yourself. No. She may fake it at the same time that you did, but that don't mean it happened at the same time.
Oh boy! So let me guess again. Veronique is a con artist, even at sex.
Hey, she's a scammer. What you expect? You think she can't scam sex? She out this joke selling wolf tickets to the unicorn show.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Now I guess we'll talk more about her in a little, but like, people have been having their eyes suspicion on her this entire season. I don't think no one has a definitive answer just yet. And this is not a good start for her by popular opinion of a court of opinion of social media. So you will see what the verdict is by the end of the night. Avi, last time we seen him, his spot got ran up on. That's because Ruben, the Russian Ruben from Cuba by way of Russia, decided that he needs to.
Much confusion there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it alone. But we wasn't sure if he was alive or not. But we see that he is alive. He's in the back of the trunk. But he's not doing good because he's in a hostage situation here.
Avi.
What did I say?
You said Ruben. Ruben's the nigga.
Yeah.
Kidnapped Avi.
Ruben was scared. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Avi. It's not in a good situation right now. But let's just kind of like package this all together because their storyline plots kind of jumped all over. So overall, at this point now, Avi is he's been kidnapped. Everyone, with his spot being hit, now people's looking for him. What's just your overall thoughts about from this moment beyond of what was going to happen and what should happen, obviously?
Well, the first thing you kind of wonder is after he takes Avi with him is what's his end game? And we kind of see that play out with Ruben when his handler comes and basically says the same thing. What is your end game here? How do you expect this to work? Like, you kidnap this guy and you have to still get information from him. Now, what ends up transpiring in this episode is we kind of see that Avi is not the strong force that we thought he was. Because he kind of broke extremely easy in this episode. And he gave Ruben information he should have never given up in any way. Because if you've been in the game as long as Avi, two things ran through my mind. Is one, you should understand the situation you're in. And the way Gustavo and Franklin understood it when they were kidnapped. And the guy was asking for the money. And Franklin was like, maybe we should give them money. And Gustavo said, if we give it to them, we're dead anyway. So it kind of brings us right back here with Avi. And we're like, if you give him the information, you're dead anyway. Like, it's no positive outcome here. Even though I did love the way Ruben played him. He played on his sympathy. He played on the point of his home country. He played on, hey, I'm coming from here and I'm here. Avi's like, well, did you not understand that my parents were Russian Jews? And that whole thing was, in a way, is what Gustavo attempted to do when him and Franklin were kidnapped. And he looked at the map and was like, hey, well, you're from here. I'm from here. Is that struggle, that united struggle that you try to get out of someone and you try to play off of it. Ruben played it perfectly with Avi because it led for Avi to trust him in a way he had no business trusting him. Now, where this paperwork is going to go forward, we're going to get into that later because I have so many questions here on I have so many questions on this being the KGB. This is the official overall announcement that, hey, this is the KGB that are doing all of these moves. Anybody who knows anything about the KGB in the 80s, you would understand why they're making these moves. And you would understand how that does not play dividends for anybody in this show for them to make the moves that they're making. If not, we'll give you a history lesson and let you all know what the KGB was doing then.
Yeah, because, they want you, Professor Lucas, to drop all your drug knowledge.
They can't want me to take acid and then drop world history at the same time. And also tell them how to break down a brick and get Diet Coke. We can't do all of that in one time.
That's exactly what they want. Just saying. I just passed the message along, and then you got the folks that try to discredit you in the same breath. So, conversation for another day. Let's talk about Gustavo for a quick second there. And this is kind of in the events of the episode. So Gustavo kids are bad as hell, and that's exactly why his girl is not. Well, hold up. The situation.
We also realize I'm slow, and I'm gonna ask you this question and ask the audience at the same time, and then I'll let you go. Did you know those weren't Gustavo's kids?
Yeah, he's just like the guardian because of everything that happened. Right. So yeah, I'm just gonna call him his kids, but y'all know what it is. It's his
step babies.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
The hood step babies.
But they're bad as hell. That's the only thing that we know for certain. They're bad as hell because when Gustavo was thought to be dead, her first thing she said out of her mouth was, "I know you weren't about to leave me with these kids." And well, we seen in 10 seconds exactly why, because they out here making noise bright and early in the morning. But to their surprise, or to the mom's surprise, they found a bug in the house. This is interesting now because Gustavo had already been a little suspicious about Teddy and his antics. And at this point, Gustavo don't know who to trust. He knows one thing. He's going to protect his family and get up out of here. And that was the biggest thing. He said he had 10 million stashed and he's ready to life on the run. If that's what it's got to be, then they'll do it. He's ready to go. So ultimately, what do you think about this whole arc with Gustavo, this entire episode? Let's just put that all together because you know, the other things that happened kind of was like a that, and then that was it. But like,
so we're getting into all his whole thing for this episode.
Cool. Gustavo.
I really like this because this is something I really wanted to talk about here. When we see the bug, I think because of his trust with Franklin at this point, and after that conversation he has with Franklin, he immediately thought the bug was Teddy. Yeah. But if we ever pay attention to what happened at that LSD cookout, when they said, oh yeah, we got information on Gustavo and we got information on Avi. So immediately he blamed Teddy because of what happened with Franklin. When in all honesty, that bug was set up by the KGB. Had nothing to do with Teddy, but it was just him falling into his paranoia along with Franklin's paranoia that automatically made them think that Teddy did it. Now, also with the woman, baby, them your kids. If I die, leave you with them. I left you in the same situation I met you in. Them your badass kids. Don't try to put that on Gustavo. Gustavo, he ain't wear no cape for them niggas. Those are your kids.
He did at the party. He did.
Yeah. But those are her kids. Don't talk about you gonna leave me with these kids. Yes, I'm leaving you with your kids. Those are your babies. That's why they bad as hell. But as we see the progression of the episode and Gustavo make the proper choices here, when Franklin is reaching out to him to set him up, and he's like, no, if I set him up, Teddy would understand I'm the rat. And Gustavo made the decision to run for his family. At the same time, she made the decision, or unless I'm wrong, please point me to where I'm wrong. She made a decision to reach out to the DEA about Gustavo and to snitch on him.
I actually don't know. I actually don't know. But
I paid attention because of her reaction at the end where the kids say, hey, is Gustavo coming back? And the look on her face was, I know he's not coming back. And again, there's no one else to snitch on Gustavo.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and it's the DEA, so it's clearly not Teddy.
Yep.
And he's only a CIA contractor. Yeah, could be so. And that's also Tony, who we haven't seen. Who we first seen going back into season 2. So nothing like seeing an old friend back. On the opposite end of things, and I don't know. I don't want to give history lessons or like try to give like proper hierarchy, but everybody understands like the whole tension between CIA, FBI, and DEA, and who has what jurisdiction. That's
why they would not be working together under any circumstance.
Yeah. So, this bust with Teddy, from Tony, on Gustavo is more of a personal thing, and they knew exactly where he was going to be and everything. That's very precise, but very personal, and it'd be interesting to see where this goes next season. If I can necessarily predict, I think they're going to try to get him to flip.
Oh yeah, that would be the first thing, because they need to find out, one, how he got all this money and who did it belong to. Again, if it would have been Teddy, the obvious choice would have been the FBI. If anybody else, it definitely wouldn't have been the DEA. Yeah, the Alphabet Boys don't like each other. Let's lay that out complete.
Yeah.
Okay, what alphabet they go by? something PD, FBI, DEA, CIA, they do not like each other. But for Gustavo to be running around with that much money, if it was Teddy, he'd have called the FBI at anything to put Gustavo, because he would understand the FBI wouldn't care about making a deal.
Yeah,
they don't need to make a deal with you, but the DEA is going to look for that deal.
Right. And if I think I understand correctly, the DEA was the ones was obviously the group that was put together to stop the war on drugs. CIA was the ones that were like, yeah, let's keep that going. Seems to be very lucrative for us. And like, the only thing I can really like equate it to, but that everybody's like very familiar with, is Narcos, where you've seen all these DEA agents went over there into Mexico and to Colombia and literally left their entire families and everything that they ever stood for back in order to stop this war. They literally was about stopping the war. There was no one really in cahoots with, the folks of the drug lords and whatnot.
So in other words, Nancy Reagan is the DEA. Ronald Reagan and Oliver North is the CIA.
Yeah.
They are flooding drugs into the country for war. Yeah. And Nancy Reagan is like, hey, we need to stop people from doing drugs. She's the DEA. So that was the conflict at that point in time between those two. We understand who was pushing drugs into the country, because that's real. The government did it. But we also understand at the same time they were sending a message of don't do drugs. Just say no, as Nancy Reagan said. And that's the DEA.
Yep. That's it. So so Louis and Jerome, they're on their honeymoon. They're talking all this futuristic stuff. Things are good. They're on cloud 9. She got everything she wants. But she gets the call from Teddy saying that Franklin quit. And can you carry the load? Can I trust you? Was the immediate questions. Meanwhile, Parisa is really horny as always. So there's nothing different there. So I just want to, just always horny. What was your thoughts about Louis and Jerome upon receiving that call? Like, reading the room here, what do you thought the reception of that? Like, what do you think they were saying that wasn't saying?
Every mother sucker, and I'm gonna say mother sucker because I'm not gonna cuss here. Every of you punks in those comment sections that told me I was wrong about Louis, I told y'all asses she would have no issue taking over this organization. I love this scene because it was her understanding, like, no, I can do this with no issue. Like, it's not going to be a problem for us to run this organization. And again, I love the point that it plays that Jerome is looking at Louis like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Is this something we want to do here? And Louis understanding that, one, they clearly already run most of Franklin's drugs anyway. As I said before in the last episode, what the hell would be the difference of 10%? That ain't a big makeup for them. And because they have stretched out everything, but Franklin kept everything localized, it made perfectly good sense that Louis knew that they can do this job.
Yeah. I feel like Louis' response didn't look happy. Maybe that's what I was suspecting, because like, yes, we got everything we want, but I do kind of hear what you're saying in terms of like, maybe she just felt fully embraced for like the, hey, you got your promotion, you start tomorrow type of thing.
Exactly. I think it caught her off guard because of Franklin quitting. I don't think they pictured him quitting.
Yeah.
For him to step out the game like that is kind of weird to them.
Right. But Jerome just was kind of like a bystander, like, and that's what he's been like the last 2 episodes. He's trying to find his peace and whatnot. I don't think he had means to want to give a reaction. He was just kind of like, okay, whatever. If we go back to season 1 of Snowfall, when Jerome was just a hustler on the street, you remember when Franklin walked into that house? I know I'm taking y'all back here, and it was Louis counting the money up to make sure the business was running right. Yeah.
I think that's always been their thing. Is that Jerome is the muscle. Jerome is the guy's going to go out there. He'll bust heads. He'll kill people. He'll do whatever's necessary. But Louis knows how to run the business.
Yeah.
And he did the perfect thing. He deferred to the person that knows how to run the business.
Yeah. The
same way Franklin did when Franklin got hurt. He deferred to the person who he knew could run the business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So at this point in the episode, things are pretty much like in regular building of a Snowfall episode until we get this very enraged burst of energy from Franklin, which really spiked all of the emotions in this entire episode. Franklin is on 1,000 right now, and on the same token, because we just can't pass up on her. But Wanda is feeling herself right now. She
going to Africa. She T-Boss.
Yeah.
Sincere taking her to Africa. She can't wait. It was beautiful. In the belly were like, it was beautiful, man. We went to Africa. It was beautiful, man. Our people, our folk. She ready to go. She got her passport in 24 hours.
She definitely did. She expedited that thing.
Hey, we know this the 80s when they giving out passports in 24 hours.
You're right about that. But Franklin was pissed because he got the news: $73 million all gone. So the man, the IT specialist for hire, then did his job, and at that point now, Franklin's in a whole $73 million. Looks like he landed on that park place with hotels on it, and thus he had to pay Teddy, and Teddy is living it up right now. So instead of going down each plot point of this, what was your immediate thought about Franklin getting the news, his reaction to the news, and where did you see him playing his next hand?
Can I be honest? First reaction was, I told you so. To all them folks out there, when I said Teddy took all of Franklin's money, what's going to happen when he realizes Teddy took all his money? And he reacted the exact way I thought he would react, which is, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Like all of those. Here's the thing about these two in this situation here. Based strictly off of that call that Franklin made when he was on LSD, it made Teddy put the plan in place to take everything away from Franklin. Yeah. Again, it was very calculated that he went with Louis, that he allowed even Louis to buy the brick straight from him, because this entire season has been Teddy moving Franklin out the way. He was dead serious, and we brought it up in the second episode, I want to say, when we said, oh, Franklin with these businesses is Frank Lucas with the fur coat.
Yeah.
You put too much out there. And he understood the threat that Franklin was becoming by doing this. As a drug dealer, I hate to tell folks out there, and then I'm going to let you go, Nigeria, but as a drug dealer, you can't advance your business. I understand people think you can. Everything looks great. That money's coming in too fast. You have to account for too much of it. When you have a connect, unless you are the connect, you can't advance that way, because that connect's going to wonder about the heat that you're going to bring down on them, because eventually somebody's going to wonder, how are you able to do all of this? And that's what Teddy was. And this whole season has been Teddy moving Franklin out the way. So when we saw the forensic guy come up and Teddy put all that in place, and I kept on saying, Teddy is pulling all of Franklin's money. That's the main purpose of him doing this. And then we find out he did pull Franklin's money, and we see the response that happens for Franklin when he loses his money. He becomes the monster that he's always been. The money took his mask away. As a quick analogy from, if you ever saw The Dark Knight, when the Joker and Batman are sitting across from each other, and the Joker said, "You're just like me.
Yeah,
you just wear masks." That's what happened with Franklin. When that mask got taken away, he became the monster that he's always been.
Yeah. I mean, he admitted it. He knew what it was. I mean, that's what his trip did for him. It was a glass mirror session for him. He came to realization that he's no run away from his fate. He know who he is. A couple of interesting things you brought up here. First off, Teddy having the money. Teddy wants to make a donation to his former employee, the CIA. You think he's trying to get a position back, or you think he's trying to provoke more international warfare?
Remember what I said? And again, I keep on going back to the last episode, because we said some dope shit in the last episode that folks was trying to hate on us like we didn't know what we were talking about.
Yeah,
I literally said, when the war with the Nicaraguan, when that war transitioned, there were other wars that needed money.
Yeah.
And what Teddy is doing is securing his place in that war. That's what makes the KGB make so much sense, because technically the next war was the Cold War. Ending the Cold War was the next thing up. Guess what they needed? Money and resources to do that. When you need money and resources to do other things. And people kept on saying, well, Franklin made them, I think, $56 million, and people were wondering how much money did Franklin make off of those same deals. Keep in mind that $73 million is not what he made off of drug dealing. That's what he made off of all his other businesses also. So when Teddy's going to them like, we have $73 million we could do something with. And the dude said it. What, you trying to buy your way into good grace? Of course he is. Teddy's not crazy. He fully understands, like, hey, we need to take this money and I could flip this money into something else and get my position back in the company.
Yeah.
No one wants to be a contractor for the CIA or for the government in general. You don't want to be a contractor. I'm a government contractor. You don't want to be
man, some people like fast money, man.
Hey, that's all it is. I do. I understand. I understand. But again, that's what Teddy's trying to do. He's trying to buy his way back into that position with the CIA. And what better gift is we have $73 million that, as Teddy put it perfectly, the person I took it for can never ask for it back. Meaning he can never say that it's missing.
Yeah. So do you think this was his end game, or do you think he was just trying to cripple Franklin the entire time? Like, I don't feel like that was a put together plan. I feel like this was circumstantial, because
I think it became his thought process when the other guy was there and all of those business dealings with Franklin. I think he understood then. I have to find a way to shrink him back down, because the fear of it is Franklin becomes so big he no longer needs you.
Yeah,
I need you to need me, because I still need for all of this stuff to be pushed through. And then when Franklin threatened to kill him, it was at that point, it's like, I need to cripple you.
Yeah, I
need to show you that you were never in power. And that's the whole point of Snowfall. Keep in mind, this is Franklin fighting the government. Yeah. There's never going to be a positive end game for him fighting the government.
Gustavo said, you ain't never winning that one.
Yeah. There's no end game that's going to end up positive for Franklin fighting the government. And this was just step one of it, is by them taking your fortune.
Yeah.
But then I love the point that Louis said, oh, don't worry about it, we froze all our funds.
Yeah, that's some wild shit right there.
That's a smart business move. And
it ain't a smart business move, because she didn't do it instinctively. She did it because it was literally like,
Franklin.
Yeah, yes. But like, have you like, let's talk like right now. Have you ever done something and then your friends immediately say, I'm gonna do it too, just because you had the wherewithal knowing what to do?
Hey, no, it's not I'm gonna do it too. Is you ever had something happen to your friends and you said, oh, let me make sure that doesn't happen to me? Because that's what Louis did here. Again, when I say it's a smart business move, I don't mean in the sense that she thought it out beforehand. She fully understood. Oh,
she reacted appropriately.
I can't trust Teddy. I'm not crazy. Let me freeze all of my funds so this can't happen to me. I was more surprised. And it's more surprising that with all the moves that Franklin was making, he never thought about doing that.
To be honest, I don't know too much about cybersecurity back then, but
it's the 80s. It doesn't exist.
But listen, funny thing, in year 2022, folks still out here getting scammed by Veronique's mom. So
hey, but because niggas don't freeze funds, they don't know you.
Look, people are lobbying them up. They'll be like, oh, you want to change this 50 to 5,000? Well, all right, here you go, and cash at me, and then they be gone.
Because niggas is investing in Dragon Coin, Oliver Coin, anything coin, because they think that crypto shit's gonna get them. It's the same thing, though. You have to understand the way money works and understand, like, hey, I can't put all of this out there. That's why I'm surprised Franklin didn't make that move, because Franklin has always been 2 or 3 steps ahead of everything.
Yeah.
With this move, it just showed that Teddy outthought him. And I think I would lose his money, that hurt him too.
I'll just also say that, like, if Veronique had been around longer, this wouldn't have been an issue, because she would have had that perspective.
But she's a scammer.
In order to know that. But also, let's not get it twisted. There's a couple of things to make about Veronique here. With her having that background, Franklin never cared. He was very dismissive of it because you absolutely leveraged that. He never leveraged that. And the funny thing is, even when she tried to help, he quickly was like, no, in whatever way he did. It was her going behind his back, not even going behind his back, but then to say like, no, he's not in trouble. We're in trouble. And she made the call. And the question is, who did she call? I think it was her mother, because her mom is a master expert of this. Her mom is still offshore somewhere.
I can't wait to see who her mama is. That's cool.
I got a prediction right now.
Where's Lynn Winfield? Where's Lynn Winfield?
It's gonna be Lala. This is the only show she ain't been on, so it's got to be Lala. And I don't care how it looks.
It can't be Lala.
I don't care how it looks. It's Lala.
It's gonna be Viola Davis.
Stop it. This show couldn't.
She need to make up for playing Michelle Obama. So it's Viola Davis.
Jesus Christ.
She gonna be snotting it up on screen.
Oh my
God! You did that to my daughter. It's gonna be driven down, and it's gonna be great.
Folks, let us know who you think she called, and if whoever you think it is, who you think this should be casted forward. I mean, honestly, I think it was her mother, because her mom would understand this better. Her mom knows, probably have resources to be able to manipulate and move money from different accounts. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Her mom got cybersecurity skills in the 80s, and this was a unknown piece of skill and profession that people didn't know would make them a lot of money going forward. And let's just keep it 100. Those scammer folks that were doing stuff like that, they did get governmentally employed because they was like, oh, you know how to do this? Yeah, we need you to do this. Hackers and all this other stuff, they become essential employees and almost
they them G13s is in there, Joe. They scammed their ways of them jokes, Johnny.
Yep.
Can I name an actress really quick who I understand people, because of everything recent, a lot of people don't mess with this person, but I would freaking love this was Jada Pinkett.
I thought you was gonna say Amber Heard for whatever reason, but yeah, Jada's also.
As Veronique's mom? I don't think so.
I don't care. Make it happen.
But for a role like that, I think Jada would kill it.
That'd be interesting.
Man, she could kill this role as the mom. The scam mom, she would kill that role, shorty. Like Jada has range, and I think this would be the perfect type of role for her to play. But again, it just depends on who did Veronique call. But also, it plays a lot into the way Franklin thinks. He thinks brute force is the way to win this war, while Veronique is thinking, no, way more tactical, because that's what Veronique would be. It would be sneaky tactical, though.
Yeah, and to me, I think he just doesn't appreciate what she's capable of doing. Like, he treats her in what we are mostly accustomed to women inside of the drug game being treated. Get behind the desk, count the numbers, handle the phone calls. But she's like, she has made good quality assurance and control checks of everything. I mean, Kane was like a far-fetched thing, but yes, she said, I don't trust him to have handled this the correct way. I'm going to double down and do this. She knows where all the money, she was able to get all the numbers for the money. She knew about all the businesses. You know, she has a legitimate stake in this. And like you said, with him going like the brute force route, she goes back down the route. And who knows what her relationship with her mother is? Her mom has not shown up yet.
Yep.
So did she really go down almost a rabbit hole of like desperation of saying like, if there's one person that can fix this, it's her. We got to hit her up.
I'm in LA. I need your help. I'm still here.
Where do you think her mom is at?
Oh, she clearly,
Thailand.
Said Thailand. Hey, she's somewhere clearly living a good life, understanding what it took for her to get there. But if you pay attention to it also, Franklin is treating Veronique the very opposite of the last woman he really trusted to be in his business.
True.
The last woman he really trusted to be in his business was Louis.
Yeah. And
he saw where Louis went.
Oh, and yeah, because none of the chicks.
Yeah, none of them. At this point, he's holding her back to make sure. And it could be just out of a natural fear that maybe she's smarter than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just very interesting. It's just an interesting dynamic between them two. Because I know a lot of y'all thought Veronique was going to pick up that phone and say, He's right here. Come and get him. I know that's what y'all was waiting for.
Or Kane, I know you dying, but like, get your ass over here right now. Something silly, but yeah. I honestly didn't know what she was going to do, but I know that everybody had their suspicion high because everybody's been suspicious of their entire time. So I know they were supposed to. I was probably like, oh, here it go. Is it Teddy she's calling? Is it the DEA? You know, who is it? The KGB? Who is it? And like, I think she's calling her mother. So we'll see. So we will see. All right. So getting back into it now, Leon Luther King, folks. I think this is a very telling scene that I don't think a lot of people are going to focus on here.
They got to. This is the funniest scene of this episode.
Let's talk about Leon's perspective about where things go beyond this. Now, I'm really interested to hear your take on this. What is your overall thoughts about Leon's, which I call a legit perspective about why he needs to get out of the game? Why they all need to get out of the game?
He really plays in the part of the law that is going to change at this point in the Snowfall when you get that for I think it's an ounce, 2 ounces, that you get the equivalent of 100 years for the powder version of it, which to the day the law was only enacted to punish black folk. Everybody know that at this point. We understand the law that is pushed. Our current president is one of the people who will push that law. We understand what that law does and the impact that law had. With Leon, to this day, never fully understood. If you don't give people a different option, they're not going to listen to you. I think this was the realest scene of this episode. When Leon Hampton, Leon Luther King Jr. is up here preaching the word to these hood dudes, and they like, oh, so if you stepped out, that's cool. I mean, I'm taking over. Like, cause we're not stopped moving this rock. You'd have lost your mind. You either you sling and crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot. That shit wasn't said because it was just a nice line to put in something. You have to give these dudes a different option. Yeah. It's great to want to uplift your folk, but you can't uplift your folk and at the same time feed them poison and then think when you've changed, they're going to change with you. That never happens. This is why folks leave the hood and they don't come back, because they understand that mentality. And I love the scene where the folks are playing domino at the table, and after winning the hand, my man starts busting off in the air, and the look on Leon's face when the realization came that the hood always gonna be the hood. You can't change that. Like if you were looking for greater impact on folk, that's not how you get it. It's not going to change that way. Unfortunately, we've seen that throughout history, way before Snowfall, in the 60s, in the 50s, the 40s, the 60s, the 70s, here in the 80s. Those people ain't going to change because you're not giving them any option. It's great to say, you know, we need to do better. We need to do better. We need to understand the laws that are changing. One, you are speaking like the toughest form of algebra to these folks if you think they're paying any attention to the laws and how everything's going to change. A hood nigga thinks from dollar to dollar. They're not thinking from any other way. That's what makes you, and that's what gives you that mentality. That mentality to survive exists because this is my option.
Yeah, I also think that look was also the realization that he was never going to see them again. I think there was that whole complacency factor, and beyond not seeing them again, I also think that he also have the idea that like maybe this may be the last time they see him alive, because like, you know, trouble is coming. The whole season he was preparing for war, essentially with the feds. You know, they're gonna run up, they're gonna do. And you know, black folks are going to be the casualties of it. And I think he's just in a very more Leon season 5 way. He was dealing with a bunch of emotions, with Wanda being "Let's go, Africa, we're on the way." They probably hit Cabo up. They'll hit South Beach. They're going to hit all the regular spots that all the black folks hit.
But they ain't hit South Beach, not in the 80s.
Oh well,
you already know you know what's on South Beach in the 80s. You're not doing
same thing.
You're not even hitting Cabo. You're avoiding all of those places. You're going straight to Africa.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, like with Wanda being ready to go, I think it's the realization that like he couldn't save his folks, and I think that's a tough pill to swallow because like he gave them, and like I feel you with the options, but I feel like he gave them many ultimatums in terms of like, all right, folks, let's educate ourselves this way, let's change our mindsets this way. All right, folks, here's some law and legal ramifications that are coming our way that's not going to do us any good. You know, we got to stop doing this. We got to protect one another. You know, all these other things. I feel like we've all came from a place in our life when we had that one person that tried to heed warnings about something. We were just kind of ignorant to it. You know, whether it's peers or even our parents and whatnot. So, you know, seeing Leon in that capacity was definitely different. But like, it does show you the blatant ignorance of folks who are just unwilling to just listen. And even Einstein, the smartest one of them, still was kind of like, nah.
Because he's still a hood dude. In the end, like you, the saying, meet people where they're at is important in this situation.
Yeah.
You got to understand when you can advance past people, at that point, it's time for you to move on. That's all it is the realization that I can never change your mindset.
Yeah.
Because if you don't give folks in the hood another way to get out, all your words fall on deaf ears. Because my brother, you need to match this money. It's jobs in the hood to get, but who the fuck wants to work for $7 an hour when I can make $1,500 a day? You make it make sense to them. And here, especially in the 80s, that was extremely hard to do because a lot of this stuff hadn't come down yet. The mandatory sentencing didn't come down yet. But damn it, I remember the 90s. I remember the 90s. Okay, no one stopped doing what they were doing because of mandatory sentencing. That didn't make you stop. Like, you had to lose folk. You had to have like catastrophic things happen in your life to make you say, I want to get out of the streets. But here in the 80s, like, that's all they know. Welcome to the hood. Welcome to the projects.
Yeah.
Nigga, Bury Farms is still the same way it's always been in DC.
Yeah.
Shit ain't gonna change.
It's gone now.
Come on now. Right. No, it ain't gone. Valley Green is gone because they moved them people out. But like the farms is not gone yet because people are still holding on to things.
Still there, I think.
Yeah, folks are still holding on. And this was just a perfect example of someone who wanted to make the hood better, but understood by myself, I can't do it.
And he also said something in very contrary to everything that Franklin stands for. He said, like, I can't make the hood better from selling drugs to them. It's weird because I can't remember if them two actually had a conversation with each other that surfaced the same statement, but like Franklin's whole thing is I'm making the hood better by supplying the drugs.
I think
like
it was season 3.
No, it was sooner than that. It was more recent than that. I remember him particularly stating the fact that like things are moving because of what I'm doing. It's like,
oh no, I mean season 3 where the realization started coming to Leon. I think that's when crack first hit, because that was in season 3 for Snowfall when crack really first hit. And Franklin was like, well, we're making things like we're getting people opportunities. And then Leon is looking around at the city along with the cop that he eventually kills, Franklin, the father of Melody. I think that's the girl's name. And you see the city being destroyed around him. And it's like, you can't sell poison and then think you're going to make the neighborhood better. It's the same mistake every drug dealer makes. I'm going to build a community center. In the same community I'm selling crack in. What good is that going to do? You literally making it harder for the kids to come out. And I think I did love the arc for Leon this year because it's just the realization that I've done wrong and I need to do everything to make this right.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to Ruben now. First, Ruben getting numerous calls from Sissy, but he's unavailable because Ruben's in trouble from his superiors, Russian superiors. Because with all this investigation and time, he hasn't supplied anything. So he's stuck in a bind, which is very clear to Avi, who's right now being held hostage, who says like, we could probably help each other because I got information you need. I'm just trying to get out here safely. and you are obviously in trouble too. So let's kind of work this kind of out right now. And then Avi starts to bring a little bit more context into who Ruben is. And yes, we knew that Ruben was working with somebody Russian, but we actually didn't know he was actually working for the Russians. So there's that. And then Avi started to pull down the banana peel a little bit himself, started to talk about his very unloyalty to everybody, but his past allegiances, and just, you know, who makes him who he is, and why I'm not gonna say they're one of the kind, but he's like, I understand what you do, hopefully you understand what I do and whatnot. So like I said, trying to get on common ground, obviously, because one has a goal to accomplish and the other is trying to get back out of here safely. So what did you make of the two of them at this moment? And, you know, you brought up before about, you know, Gustavo pulling the same tactic, but what did you think more or less about the revelation of Ruben and the Russians and sort of not being the guy?
The moment they bring up that Ruben's part of the KGB, I said, oh, this is not good for anybody. Because at that point, I don't think Sissy understands exactly what she's getting into here. This entire season, we thought that Ruben was a threat to Teddy.
Yeah.
That he was somehow going to take down Teddy. The moment you confirm he's part of the KGB, their goal is not to take down Teddy. They give a damn what Teddy's doing. Their goal is to recruit Teddy. That's what the KGB does. They're not looking to kill him in any way, shape, form, or fashion, but they need to get him to get an ear on him to try to recruit him. Like, this to me is the beginning of the end of Sissy. That's all I saw. The moment he confirms that, and everything that happened with Avi, to me, again, played out the same way. I think Avi comes across as gullible, or maybe it was just Avi just wanting to tell everything. But I can't imagine a world where he didn't understand that Ruben was going to kill him.
Yeah, desperate. He said he was dying. Whether that was true or not, I think that, and whether he's dying by one of his gunshot wounds, he wasn't.
He was just beaten.
Yeah, by his beatings or whatever it may be, desperate, dying, whatever it may be. I think he just was he laid down his trump card and said, "Man, this is what I got left." So, but yeah, I think I wouldn't expect for him to have went out in that fashion. But, you know, maybe it's just because, you know, he felt like he didn't have anything else to kind of work with. So I don't know that.
If he trump card and he was hoping that it would work, but if you're in that situation and somebody gets a hold of you, you got to understand at that point, there's no amount of information you could give up that's going to leave with you living.
Yeah. Yeah. To go back to Franklin now, Franklin is just completely hot. I mean, he's definitely hit like nuclear hot at this point. He's pissed. He's trying to find Teddy. He's trying to do whatever he can to ploy him back in by, you know, wanting to reestablish their connection, going to Avi's spot, just all sorts of different things. And frankly, he's out of all options at this point. He even decides to you know, call Jerome and Louis, just whatever he can. He's trying to get some type of solution here. And it's funny because at this point is when Gustavo went to get his money, but Gustavo had done it the manual way of keeping his money
under the mattress.
Yeah. And then he gets busted by the DEA, but we already kind of talked about that. At this point now, it's Franklin literally on his last effort of trying to make something happen here. First of all, and to kind of give you like, you know, to kind of give you like free for all on talking about him, just what are you thinking throughout this entire episode with Franklin getting all the way to the point where he has the altercation with Louis?
I thought, oh, this is the real Franklin. This is the one that's been hidden from people.
The one the fans been wanting all season.
Yeah. No. The one the fans don't want to believe exists. Because for some odd reason, and if you listen to our interview before this, you understand if one of the key actresses brings this up, how much people love Franklin. Guess what? Everything Franklin did in this episode is why you shouldn't love him. He's a monster. The point that he pulled the gun on Louis when Louis did nothing wrong to him in this episode at all. He was mad because she wasn't willing to set up her connect for him to kill him.
Yeah.
Literally, we saw Franklin kill people or have people killed for less. This whole time, we have witnessed Franklin not be the person who's a killer. And then in this episode, everything changed. It's because he's fully become the monster that he's always been on this show.
Yeah.
And these are the ramifications of being that monster, is that you have to realize that they are people who will want to take you out. I understood why Louis showed him mercy. And she said, it's only because of Jerome that I'm not going to kill you. But moving forward, if I see you again, you're dead. And after that, we saw Franklin make some of the most sucker ass moves humanly possible.
What might that be?
Robbing the spot. Hey, I understand it. You need money. You desperate. But in all honesty, what's the difference between you and a crackhead? You're desperate for a hit. You're desperate for money. So you're going to rob them to get the money. I would have thought he would have been smart enough to go to Louis and say, could you give me a loan or something to stay afloat? Instead, he was attempting to force her hand because he has this illusion that Louis should be fearful of him.
All right, a lot to. First of all, this is some of the best moments of this episode. And quickly, because the one thing he didn't add was like Buckley being there, obviously not a cop anymore, suspended, but ultimately going to be terminated. But we see now his position with Louis.
He's one of Louis' muscles.
Yeah, and he didn't look cracked out. He looked efficient right now. You know, I was expecting him to be sweating, shaking and shit, you know, but I guess he's all right. But listen, that's good for him because remember, he got financial issues too. Louis take care of that. So, you know, the money has been the root of everybody's evil right now. And the fact that he's good, I think from last week, I was like, could he be dependable? I think he's ultimately dependable now. And I also think without a question, he was ready to do whatever Louis wanted him to do. And she was very confident in that as well. You can tell it hurt her by that interaction all going down, but she's good on that note, you know. And the other interesting thing is no Jerome. Is Jerome just truly out of conflict right now? Jerome just playing husband, or his husband, not playing, but his husband. And also, did Louis leave their whole little honeymoon thing
to meet with Franklin
and then to go back?
I think because Franklin asked for her help. In the end, this was the ultimate test. She still loves Franklin. She didn't trust Franklin, and he did exactly what she thought he may do. Yeah, and that's why she brought Buckley. Again, it's a difference when you make a move because you're thinking versus Franklin being this free spirit who's not fully thinking about anything he's doing.
Yeah,
he doesn't like, he's not understanding any of the ramifications behind the moves that he is making here.
Yeah,
like including going to Kane at the hospital and saying Louis did it. If you're Kane, in what world would you not still kill Franklin?
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
Season, I don't know. That's definitely one. So kind of going back to Avi real quick because we've got to cover this. So Avi then decides to kind of cooperate with Ruben. Ruben goes to Teddy's place.
Avi's.
Oh, right, because right. It is Avi's place. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. Which happens to be the same place that Teddy is going to. Realizing that Avi's missing, now all the red flags and everything is pointing towards him, which catches the two of them in the same place at the same time. They were aware that they don't know who was there, but they were aware that somebody else was in there at the same time, which made things more of a in and out type of move.
Yeah.
But Perisha had a job. You see somebody, let me know. Teddy got the page. She goes radio silent, which means that, well, she's been kidnapped. And as we said earlier this season, she's super valuable. There's no doubt she's alive. She has information on Teddy. She has information on the CIA. She also is a medic, which makes her one of the most valuable people right now. And I was very interested in knowing what Avi and her second interaction may have been, but obviously that was short-lived because Avi was killed by Ruben.
Mhm.
So to kind of wrap up this whole arc with all of them for this season, what is your overall thoughts about the KGB, their position? Where does Perisher fit in all of this? And well, Avi's gone. What does that got? What does that knock any other dominoes down beyond it?
Besides the records that he kept, which again only points back to Teddy. That's why he's a CIA contractor, not an official worker for the CIA. They're not crazy here. As for the KGB, I think with the kidnapping, I think they're going to try to use that to get Teddy to work for them. I mean, it's a storyline there that's very real of someone who was a former CIA contractor that was flipped and worked for the KGB. So there's a real life story there for the way this could possibly play out. But also, I think people need to not focus as much as they want to on Franklin going for this kill, burn everything mission and understand the moment Teddy met with the CIA and said, we have a problem, you know the way CIA solves problems? By killing everybody involved.
Yeah.
They knock off everybody humanly possible. So there is nothing that can run back to them. And that's the way it looks like it's going to head down that direction. When in the end, they're going to kill everybody humanly possible. They can't leave a body alive that would ever understand that there was a connection between Teddy and the CIA. As for the KGB, we understand the crooked organization the KGB is. The point they're on American soil should have been the first warning sign that they are not there to help Sissy do anything.
Yeah.
Like they are literally there to kill her son, kill her, and flip Teddy. That's the goal of the KGB at this point, because they're trying to get more intel on America. The person who would have the intel for them would be Teddy. It ain't Franklin.
Yeah. Just a pawn. That's all that is.
Hey, all this is more pawns being put in place in the game of chess of Snowfall.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And it's hopefully people by the end of this episode fully understanding who are the pawns, who are the kings, who are the rooks, and who are the queens on this board.
Yeah.
Because it's not the people that you thought it would be going into this final episode. Franklin is literally fighting for city blocks. My guy, that's not the way you do anything.
Yeah.
You literally robbed Jerome and Louis for what Peaches took from you. That's not enough to sustain anything.
Yeah.
So at this point, you're gonna go to war with them, but what's your end game?
Yeah.
You think you can kill Teddy and get your money back?
Yeah.
You know what the CIA is gonna think? You can kill him. We're perfectly fine with that. You're not getting a dime of money back. But if you kill him, the connect ends. Because there's no reason to ever work with you.
Yeah.
What's your end game? I think that's going to be the next.
I think that's what Gustavo's been kind of like trying to
the whole time.
Yeah.
Understand? You can't win against the government. That's never going to happen.
Yeah. So to kind of wrap up this episode and then kind of talk predictions. Yeah, you talked about him, robbing the stash houses, and obviously he did that with Black Diamond and Dallas, who again
my favorite character. One of my favorite characters from the show.
Yeah, super excited to have them around. Through this entirety of the season, and they're going to be a pivotal part going forward because now they're aligned with Franklin, and also who's to say where Kane and his soldier kind of ride with after this? I mean, Kane's going to be in a wheelchair. Do they look to Franklin? Does this bring back Franklin, Kane, and maybe even Leon together? I mean, fantasy booking a little bit, but it's going to be curious to see what the war dynamics is going forward, because Louis obviously is on nobody's favorite Christmas list, and Teddy is obviously only alongside her, but Teddy's only in terms of work with anybody, whatever makes the business flow. But the other huge big question is, now we get Franklin talking to his mother, talking to Sissy, saying, I tried to be the bigger man, I tried to walk away.
Did none of that.
She's aware of the stash houses being hit. But she says that I can help you get Teddy and kill him. I met some friends in Cuba, the KGB. Let's fight fire with fire. That does it for the episode. But ultimately, what is your thoughts about that moment? And I know you kind of talked about it before, but let's talk about it from Sissy's standpoint. What is she thinking she's about to accomplish at this point?
This entire series of Snowfall thought that Franklin was smart. Your mother literally told you, in Cuba, I met the KGB and they can help us kill Teddy. At no point in time did you think, wait a minute, you met the KGB? Is all of this happening because they got involved in this?
I think that's what the look gave, but I don't think they wanted us to leave off on
that
note,
because that literally should have been his only thought. Like,
yeah,
you brought who into this equation?
Yeah.
Especially the way Teddy is playing it. Even though we know Teddy took all of Franklin's money, but when Teddy's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That might
when Avi's gone and he's like, hold up, Avi's missing, and Franklin's like, don't act stupid. And then your mother tells you, by the way, I brought the KGB into all of this. Like, I don't understand. To this day, to this point, to this season, I don't understand Sissy's in the game.
Not at all. And
it shows that she's either stupid or extremely naive if she thinks the KGB is going to take out Teddy because he possibly killed Alton.
They have never had any logical conversation between her and Ruben that seemed to have been anything beneficial for her. It just doesn't make sense. I don't even like focusing on it because it just doesn't even make sense.
The only thing to focus on, and what everybody needs to pay very close attention to, we still don't have a clear answer on Alton.
Yeah, that's literally my own thing. Where the hell is Alton?
Wait till he pops up in season 6 and finds out that Teddy hid him from the KGB. Wait till you find out that the KGB needed to do something to attempt to flip Franklin to give them information on Teddy.
Yeah.
And just wait till that comes to fruition, because then that blows up everything that Sissy thought was right.
Okay. Let's add some legitimate context to this. Let's move some puzzle pieces around. KGB now has possession of who? Perisher, right? Because they want to use that to get Teddy.
It's not going to be enough.
Exactly. Understanding having Alton could get them back to Franklin.
Yep.
Which gets them back to Teddy.
Yes.
If you can't get Alton, then you get Sissy. That gets you back to Franklin. That gets you back to Teddy.
Yes.
So
all roads end with Teddy, in other words.
So can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You think there's any chance they got Peaches?
There's a good chance they do, because we still haven't gotten a resolution on Peaches. Did he just run away?
I heard that D-Ray was like, I heard D-Ray was online talking about, don't ask me about my character.
Exactly. Exactly. No one knows if Snowfall was going to happen here, but again, it brings up questions that people didn't fully think about as the season was going on, because for some odd reason it was so many people thinking that Ruben was a good guy.
No way. No way.
No, it was people thinking like, oh, he's going to really help Sissy, like get this Teddy. Like, it was hints beforehand that he was working for the KGB, because we brought it up repeatedly.
Yeah.
It's locked now that he is part of the KGB.
Yeah,
at that point,
the main guy, he's answering to somebody, and that person.
And at that point, too. Not only is he not a good guy, he's the worst person on the show.
Yeah.
So any wolf tickets he's selling, it's an end game to it, and the end game ain't to kill Teddy. Let me help y'all out there. That is not his end game. He would kill Franklin and Sissy if he could get to Teddy.
Yeah.
Because the goal for the KGB, especially at this time period, because at this time period, the United States is still going through the Cold War.
Yeah.
And this is where we get a lot of Russian spies in the United States, and a lot of them attempting to flip contractors or employees of the big government agencies. They don't care about a nigga selling crack.
Yeah.
Nigga, you don't matter.
Yeah.
Nor did your mama matter, your daddy don't matter, none of them matter. Like, in all honesty, Snowfall is setting up that the only people that can live happily ever after is Leon and Wanda if they go to Africa.
Oh boy.
And open up their Nigerian telephone business. They scam multiple peoples with Veronique mom out of money. That's where Veronique mom's in Nigeria. That's where she's at. She's
I'm gonna say it.
She's setting up the call centers.
I'm gonna say it. Yep. Yep. All right, so let's wrap up this recap by basically either giving our prediction for next season, would we like to see fantasy booking, or just overall assessment of the episode. And I'll just quickly start by saying that I had a lot of reserve about where does this series go next, because season 5 has been kind of up and down in terms of toning. I've been enjoying it, but like you start to wonder, well, what story do you want to tell next season? Especially by how this season's been going. It's kind of like, oh, what's the next episode going to be about? You know, what are we going to, where does this go from here? And I thought this episode ended off with so many moving pieces that I'm so intrigued to see this show come back. The time jump that we know is definitely coming, and just like where have things amounted to that point? You know, does Veronique will have the baby by then?
Or if we get a time jump.
Huh?
Or if we get a time jump.
But yeah, I mean, but they've always done some type of time jump. So like we're gonna get something, but like, you know, my thing is like, does Veronique have the baby? Is Leon and Wanda gone? Is Leon's hood? You know, who's still left? You know, where's Jerome and Louis? Are they thriving? Are they in Little Rock? You know, where's Teddy at? Did he get back into the CIA? Is he still running as a contractor? You know, all these sorts of different things to kind of account for. So I'm definitely curious to see where things start off at, but I'm hoping they start off with a bang because they left off with one. So overall, you know, the season, I know a lot of people wasn't super high on it. I hear you all in the comments being very critical about the writing and whatnot. But for what it's worth, I'm still intrigued, and I'm definitely loved what they did with this episode and cannot wait for it to come out for final season in season 6. So
this is the reveal season. This is where all the masks come off of all the characters, and you fully get to see who these people are.
Yeah,
there's been a mask on Louis for this entire series of who she was. In this season, you finally get into fruition. Like, she is like the head queen bee. If you ever remember the movie Hoodlum, like, she is presenting the role as being the big boss. Franklin is presenting the role as being the full monster who doesn't fully understand everything that he's in, nor does he fully understand how to react to things at this point. We get Sissy as being just the naive person, the most naive person on the show. Like, this whole time we thought other people had let love blind them. She's completely blinded by love and hatred, that when she gets the big reveal next season, I think her whole world falls apart, and she's not gonna recover from that. Like, we get to see here just the organizations, what happens, the building of everything, the end of the war, as Teddy clearly points out here. We are at the end of this war. What's next? I thought it was a wonderful idea to bring the KGB in here, because the Cold War and the end of the Cold War coming down with the Berlin Wall falling is at the beginning of the 90s, but it started by the end of the 80s. Yeah. So that transition that has to happen there is going to be it's a monumental thing that happened in the United States around our armed forces and Oliver North, Ronald Reagan, the first George Bush. All of that is happening around this time, along with, as Leon pointed out, the laws changing that made selling an ounce of crack worse than selling pounds and pounds and pounds of cocaine. Like, we get the targeting of Black folks. I think this whole transition of what happens with Snowfall is kind of what we've been waiting for, But amazingly, for some people who were not around that during that time period, don't fully understand everything that happened in that time period and the ramifications that to this day still plays dividends. And that's what people need to see. And that's what I think this last season is going to give us. It's going to be chaos.
Yeah.
Because there's at this point, there's no need to hold anything else back. And with the great team, I understand people did not like the writing. I'm confused why you didn't like it in this season. It's some of the best writing on television that happened in this season. I think they perfectly set up things for a very explosive finale. Yeah. Think about it like season 5 of Snowfall. If you get like the Breaking Bad or the Better Call Saul, where they took a huge last season and said, hey, we're going to break this up into 2 seasons, or Ozark did the same thing. Look at it like that. I think they knew from the beginning of this season and writing it how they were going to end season 6. And instead of announcing like those shows did, that we're going to film one big season and then we're going to break it up, they're like, no, we don't need to break it up, but we know how this is going to end. So we're just going to give you this season and give you next season, but everything is going to connect to one another.
Yeah. Well, until we're back for season 6, that'll do it for us for Snowfall. You know what to do, folks. Jump in the comments. You got to let us know your thoughts about this entire season, this phenomenal finale, you know, with all the fireworks and so on of everything that went on. Let us know your favorite moments of it. Rest in peace, Avi. Who did Veronique call? What is next for Franklin, Black Diamond, and Dallas? What's next for Kane? What's next for Gustavo? Is Louis Jerome, are they going to be able to run it like they always thought they could? We'll see. And Sissy, oh my God, what did she get herself into? And where is Alton? Is he really dead? I don't think so. And everybody's looking for Teddy, but Teddy's also looking for them too. So we'll see where it goes.
You left out somebody though, but it's fine.
And Wanda, Queen Wanda.
You better talk about them.
Let me tell you about
where in Africa are they going? Are they going to Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Cameroon? Where are they going in Africa to live this wonderful life that Leon has lined up for them? Wakanda, maybe. Zamunda. We don't know where they're going.
I don't, and he ain't gonna have that bush for long. Believe that.
Oh no.
Hey, listen. You already know who he called up.
He gonna come back with the Killmonger. Braids off to the side, everything.
Well, if there's one person that approved of his move, it is Dr.
Umar.
Yeah,
or Dr. Sebi.
Both of them. Yep. So, all right, folks, but that'll do it for us. I know we had a lot of fun today. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview. And stick around because here at Big Old Man, we got a ton more content coming. So stay locked, stay subscribed, hit in the comments, let us know your thoughts about the episode, and we'll see you back very soon for more reviews, recaps, and so on. Thank y'all for tuning in.